Hey everyone, and welcome back to another State of Stats video. Today, we'll be going over my Week 5 waiver wire pickups. Along with that, I'll have two players you might want to buy low on, and two other players you should look to trade away while their value is sky high. Let's start with Jesse Puljujarvi, who is the latest beneficiary of the Connor McDavid effect. Puljujarvi came into the week struggling, and for the most part has been disappointing this year with just 5 points in 14 games this season. So, what puts him on this list? As I mentioned, he was recently put on a line with Connor McDavid, and the results were as you would expect. He played just 2 games this week, but finished with 3 goals, thanks in large part to the play of McDavid. He's also currently listed on the first power play unit alongside both McDavid and Draisaitl. As long as Puljujarvi is playing alongside Edmonton's two superstars, he's going to hold significant fantasy potential. Next up, we have Carter Verhaeghe, who's been a pleasant surprise this season. Like Puljujarvi, he's benefiting from exposure to elite fantasy players, mainly Alexander Barkov. Previously buried on Tampa Bay's depth chart, Verhaeghe now gets a chance to occupy a top 6 role with the Panthers and has thus far been successful with 9 points in 9 games this season, making him worthy of further attention from fantasy managers. Moving on, we come to a player that's making it happen all on his own with Tim Stützle. Even as a 19-year-old, the third overall pick looks impressive. He currently leads the Senators with 4 goals and is showing immediate potential, prompting praise and increased ice time from his coaches. Having both pedigree and opportunity on his side, Stützle could become a fantasy asset sooner rather than later. Last up for this week, I'm looking at Chris Driedger. Despite the Panthers playing really well this season, Bobrovsky has continued his struggles from last year, which has opened up more opportunities for Driedger to start, and he's also continued to outplay Bobrovsky at every opportunity. Not only that, but he's looked impressive while doing so, and he currently sits at 11th in the league in goals against average and 7th in save percentage. While it seems unlikely at this time that he would completely overtake Bobrovsky due to the Panthers' financial commitment to him, I could see Driedger working his way into a 50-50 split, and with the team playing as well as they are, it would lead to a good amount of wins for the goalie. For my buy low candidates, I'll start with Mika Zibanejad, who has been downright awful so far this season, with a single goal and 3 points in 10 games. His shooting percentage is way down this year too, at just 2.9%, which is bound to change considering his career mark of 12.7%. Despite his struggles, he still has over 30 shots on goal for the season and remains as the Rangers' #1 center and on their top power play unit. Zibanejad had a fantastic season last year, and while regression was inevitable, I don't think anyone expected him to be this bad. So, see if you can snag him from any panicking managers. Next up, Mike Hoffman had a slow start to the season after signing late with the St. Louis Blues, but he appears to be rounding into form now, most recently with a 2-goal game. As he continues to perform, he should be rewarded with more ice time and eventually a top 6 role, and you would figure some time on the #1 power play unit. The pitch for this week is the fact that the Blues have had a lot of their games canceled due to COVID-19 protocols, with the team not being able to play till Friday at the earliest. In the meantime, go ahead and throw some trade offers towards your league's Hoffman owner. We'll wrap up this week with my 2 sell high candidates. Of course, if we're talking about sell high candidates, we have to start with Tyler Toffoli, who really seems to love playing against his former team in Vancouver, whom he has scored a whopping 8 of his 9 goals against. He also holds an unsustainable 21.7% shooting percentage, and considering he has never held a percentage above 14.6% for an entire season, it seems unlikely that this production will continue. Perhaps even more outrageous is what Joe Pavelski is doing with 15 points in 8 games so far. As with Toffoli, he has a ridiculous shooting percentage at 28%. To his credit, he is playing a healthy amount of minutes and will be relied upon heavily with Tyler Seguin out for the Stars. However, at age 36, I don't expect much of a resurgence. If you look at his career stats, he really only fell off significantly last year, so maybe you can convince someone in your league he's found the fountain of youth. For me, I'd be looking to sell high before his stats normalize. And with that, we conclude another week of the Fantasy Hockey Waiver Wire. As always, if you found this information helpful, please consider giving the video a like and subscribing for more fantasy-related content. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch y'all in the next video.